The lie that's killing owner-operators, the dedicated lane scam. So we're here to talk about that, because you've heard it before. Get a dedicated lane, secure your future, the stability, the big money. That's going to be no stress, and it's going to be the score of a lifetime. But is it real?
I don't think it is real. Again, most of the stuff that we are going to be talking about here is just going to be two dudes with opinion. We do not have any proof to what we have to say. We just have a few arguments, something to consider for, obviously, the viewer, and make your own decision. So, one of the challenges is, where does this come from? Because one of the most common questions that we come across is owner-operators are looking for a dedicated lanes. And the challenge with dedicated lanes is pretty simple. Just like if we apply a free market to the issue, it's very easy. The easy freight with easy schedule, without any problems, available to you at your own schedule again, is never going to pay top dollar.
Right, yeah.
Now, the difficult schedule, the difficult loads with problems, loads with conditions, loads with all kinds of situations, very unpredictable, very unstable, these are the loads that are going to pay you the most, because it requires a lot of work.
Yeah, and then a lot of people out there are going to actually say, well, trucking, all loads have problems, all loads have different schedules. But the idea of what they're selling you is that constant redundancy of the same freight, and they sell it and package it as a stability. But again, the volume is there for that.
Yes, to the point where the industry starts believing it. So let's break it down a little bit. Let's just say, I think my conspiracy theory is this is a big mega carriers conspiracy theory that we put out in the air out there for the trucking industry to consume, and everyone is consuming it. You hear about it here, you hear about it there, you hear everywhere. The only thing is that people tend to add to the story all the time.
Yeah.
So, for example, mega carriers, we have a customer. And that customer is not you, the owner-operator. The customer is the big customer. It's a Walmart. It's a Procter & Gamble. It's all kinds of like factories and big producers of stuff, sellers of stuff, and so on. This is who the customer is. So basically, also as we're talking about driver shortage all the time, which is not real. In my opinion, because the last time I checked, nobody is paying whatever we ask for, right? Because if the shortage was real, the rates would be off the hook.
Yeah, for sure. And the shelves and the stores would be empty.
Yes. So basically, I think the mega carriers to provide a good service to their customer, which is again those big boys. Mm-hmm. We got to be very competitive. So we have to provide plenty of trucks, very obedient trucks. It has to be at the whistle of the customer, like any time we want, however we want. And now we need one because we provide that service to the customer. Now we need the trucks to be able to do that. And I believe this is how it works. First, we have fleet trucks, right? So to fill the fleets, we hire a lot of drivers, and because we hire a lot of drivers at below average market rate, in my opinion, we actually because we hire drivers below market rate, we need to sell the something good about it. So the good about it becomes the stability. So we tell you it's going to be the same lane.
Yeah, but I don't think necessarily you even have to sell anything, because the reality is you just give the people what they want. Because what do they want? They want to be on the same load, A to B, B to A. home every night in some cases, or it may not be, but that round robin. So it's very easy to target the type of individual because, just society, how many guys get into trucking, day one, trying to normalize a schedule. As an owner operator, did you ever go local?
I did.
Okay, so you were probably trying to normalize a schedule that you have no control of.
Yes.
So as a business owner, you have to have that adaptability. So when you give the people what they want, everything looks a lot prettier because you're getting what you want. In theory.
In theory.
Yes.
Because the only piece that is missing is the money.
And they're not telling you volume. Right? Even though it's a big box chain, whatever, the freight, the volume of the loads is based on economy, based on who's buying. So there's no real guarantee that 4 loads for 4 trucks.
Yes.
All of that. No one talks about that, right?
Yes. And also, I always remember that story. Back in the day, we were pulling a contract for Schneider as a third-party carrier. From Olney, Illinois, from Walmart. Most of you guys who's been driving for a little bit, you know exactly the Walmart I'm talking about. That's a huge Walmart DC.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, that was a very, very good paying contract. So basically, we would go in, we would grab a load, preload it. We would go out with multiple drops, let's just say 5, 6, up to 10 drops. And we would get paid per drop, per mile, and per day. And basically, if you would get like a 500-mile run, that would be considered a 4-day run. Meaning that let's say you grab a load on Monday, and you are expected to come back on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And we would pay for all those days, for extra drops, for the mileage. And because we were pulling Schneider trailers, we would rush to do all the deliveries very, very fast. Everybody wrapped it up like on Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, everybody was empty.
Reload time.
And instead of taking our sweet time, we would get a reload, a little bit like to the side.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot disclose the carrier that this happened at, obviously.
It was different times, people.
It was different times. Now, I don't think you can do this right now, but because of all the cameras and everything else. But back in the day, it was wild, wild west, and it was easy. So we would get a load through the load boards, and we would use that trailer to come back. So we would kind of like get double paid. Plus, we're not coming back on Thursday. We still come with all that said and getting a reload. We would be back on Wednesday morning, the latest. So now, and we're getting paid until Thursday still.
Yeah.
So now Wednesday, I'm grabbing another load.
If available.
And for whatever reason, for us, those loads were always available. But one thing that I always seen is the actual Schneider fleet guys are sitting there with no loads, no money, almost begging for a load. And when we come in and grab our just next load, we lost. We kind of like, what the hell's going on? I've been sitting here for a week, or we had some teams there too.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the big game is, and most of these guys, I think I get the point. Most of these guys were fresh out of school. I think there was probably every team would have maybe one CDL driver and one driver with a permit.
Yeah.
And now we are barely surviving there. But the goal for Schneider is not necessarily just to get them to do things, because I guess we can do them a lot more effectively as a third party. Those people are sitting there just to please the customer. So the Schneider can say, listen, Walmart, how do you see you like all these trucks out the window?
Owner-operator partnership is very real. I got tons of guys who are making $4,000 take-home. Learn how you can do that by giving me a call at 863 342-5171. We are conveniently located in Lakeland, Florida. We are a Florida-based trucking company that is here to provide you resources to be successful. So once again, it's 863-342-5171. Yeah, because it could be that. A lot of it too is like what happens on the other side of the fence, right? All these guys are going to be measured by on-time performance and all of that stuff. So at the end of the day, you can't just throw everybody on something because that shit's going to disappear in a heartbeat.
Yes,
you got to protect that.
And the problem is, even though it is sold as a stability, dedicated lane, this and that, there is nothing, absolutely nothing stable about it. It's just like, do you want to believe it's stable? Good for you. But in reality, it is not. Every time we would go there, we knew it's going to last a couple of months and we're going to be out on the next gig. These guys, they're there on almost permanent basis and just suffering through it. So how much stability... How much fake stability does the individual need to ignore the reality and stick to stability? And see so much value in the stability that they become almost like, slaving for somebody.
Again, it comes down to give the people what they want. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to be versatile. You got to be able to do and try different loads in different lanes, right? When you commit yourself to something like that, who's really going to win here? We all know.
The customer.
They're going to protect that customer at all costs. Same scenario to something like you. Everybody knows Florida, water, beer. So Niagara, big boy down here. I've had where guys are at a location and another driver shows up making more money than the other guy, like $200 more. Why? Because if they didn't have capacity to fill that and it went to the boards, they don't care losing $200 because that's $200 that you're thinking about. But they're looking at the big picture. They're not losing an account over $200. So even if it's 4 loads, whatever, man, that's $800 to not lose an account. It sounds like pennies to me.
Absolutely.
So you're always gonna have that. So why not always be on the winning side of that, right? It's more of
and this is how you perfectly lead us to the, in my opinion, realistic answer of what is going on. So everybody out there says, oh, the load board freight is cheap garbage, right? There is a lot of opinions like that.
Right, yeah, for sure.
But in reality, and again, a lot of the same people that say the load boards are garbage, we truly believe that the rate that, for example, in any case, who do you know any carrier that does the water here in Florida? Just name me one.
Exact, I think, does it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's say Exact does it. So we do the whatever we promised on the contractual basis, right? And sometimes when let's say the truck that was supposed to pick it up broke down, or something happened and it didn't came through, or we didn't have the truck.
Yeah, they're going to outsource it.
We're going to throw that on the load board. Mm-hmm. And the chances are that if we really, really need it, we're going to pay a little bit more for it just to get it done, just to keep the customer happy, because it's only one.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was explaining. What happens? That's exactly the details behind that. But like for these guys that are thinking of just doing this dedicated, where's the proof? That's the reality of it. Where's the proof that you're actually going to make more money sticking to dedicated than to actually working spot market?
So I think there is none. Again, I have a conflict of interest here, so take it with a grain of salt, whatever I say. But in my opinion, this is just a legend that's being sold for people because the big dogs, big carriers, we need to be able to be very competitive to offer the lowest price to the shipper in order to secure the contract. So if you want to offer the lowest price to the customer to have a customer, now you need ways to attract people who's going to actually do it. So now you're selling everything else except for money. So now if you have a crappy lane that doesn't pay anything, but it's like, let's say, goes from point A to point B all the time, and you need to sell it now, what are you going to be selling? You're going to be selling the stability. Hey man, it's going to be so easy. You just go, it's already preloaded. You just pick and drop, and or for example, we see those a lot of times when we work on like dedicated lanes, like quoting them. It would be something along the lines like, hey, this is the lane, everything super easy. Like it's freaking gravy. I would love to do it. One problem. The timing is so messed up to where it turns into a crap show. So something that's good turns into something that it is way too much work for, let's say, 5 guys and not enough work for 7 guys. But to meet the timing and everything, you have to have 7 guys there. And now you got yourself something that could have been so freaking awesome.
Yeah, well,
because we even tried like a couple of approaches to this. Like we usually have some extra trailers, right? And what's the difference? The trailer sits here, or the trailer sits at the customer, right? We even tried to work out some deals to where, like, hey, look, how about give us a little bit more flexibility? We're gonna give you trailers free of charge, just extra trailers for you to have it there.
To load up whenever necessary.
Yes, and give us flexibility. And it's not always going to work. It's not always going to be
no, because even
something that we're looking for.
Yeah, because guys, remember, like there could be, like you said, there is value in something like that. But check this out: like everybody who's in Florida, what plagues us leaving Florida? Does anybody have that dedicated shipper leaving Florida? And the number one question: what does it pay? Guys, this is like I get this question every single week, at least 5 times a week. But the idea is like it doesn't exist. It's going to be market value, if not less. There is the comfort of you always having something to go to head out, but that's the real value. Or like there's no magical loads under someone's desk that are going to magically pay $250 a mile leaving Florida.
Yeah, because then somebody is getting fired.
And you'd have a line from there to Miami. Like, it's just, but we keep calling, looking for it.
Absolutely.
Like, let's just know, it's like, keep calling. Like, it's not.
It's called never giving up.
Right, but who would do that? Like, I just say we're all in the same business, man. The money is coming, supply and demand is coming into Florida. That's where you're going to make up that money. But you're always going to have your people that are looking for it, thinking that somebody's just going to overpay. But who would?
Well, nobody would.
So then, and if we wouldn't, then why would we expect somebody else to do so, right? So you can't turn that on when it's convenient and turn it off when it's not. Like, it's just business, supply, demand. Why would we pay $3 a mile if the industry is paying $1.50?
Holy crap, is this real? $4,000 a week in this market, guys? This is not a joke. We got plenty of owner-operators in this market taking home $4,000 a week every single week. So if you're interested in something like this, we're located right here in Mulberry, Florida, just a few miles south of Lakeland. Give us a call, 863-342-5171, because $4,000 take home after all the expenses, that's nothing to laugh at. And I think the biggest damage is being done when when those ideas get into somebody's head, and now we're chasing something that is just simply mathematically impossible.
Yeah, so we start to look at looking for money where it doesn't exist. That's the number one thing, and we're looking and we think that trucking is managing their policy and procedure. We think that managing trucking is going to be, okay, you got only 5 loads, I'm the 6th trucker, and I'm negotiating with your load planner that why it should be me over you. We think that that's trucking. That's not trucking, that's just load planning, right? You're not going to force 7 loads from a customer. He's going to tell you, take a hike, you take what I give you, right? But nobody talks about that, so that you try to get more than just one dedicated customer. So now you're just kind of, sifting all this around to create a little bit of controlled chaos, because in that, I can take that 6 truck and move it around. So it's a game.
But here we go. And now that comes with, let's just say, the challenge of instability. Because soon as you throw in some sprinkle of something different, a sprinkle of load board freight in this equation, it doesn't sound as stable no more, because now you may or may not get it, or you may not get it this week, you may get it next week, And now that becomes dilemma.
Yeah, man, it's in the mind. It's what you decide to believe and what you're gonna hold on to. So, for example, you want stability, you leave. Let's say a guy coming home every weekend. Man, I leave on Sunday night or Monday morning, come back Friday night, boom, I'm home every weekend. Everything else in between, I do whatever, and it doesn't matter. My stability comes that I'm back every weekend or every other weekend, whatever. Pick your poison, whatever it is. But then that's it. That's your stability.
I agree. Stabilize what you can control.
There you go, 10-4.
And don't worry about the things that you cannot control. Like, for example, in all the years in business, I never seen a contract that would be very, very popular and would last a long time. The only long time contracts that I've seen, we pay shit. And anytime there would be some sort of almost like a glitch in the trucking, you somehow, like accidentally or whatever the case is, you end up in some sort of contract to where it pays more than, let's say, market value, but usually that's not gonna last very long. It's gonna soon as the customer gonna realize that, it's almost like unnecessary expense of business. It may slip through the cracks, but soon as somebody gonna audit it and realize that's where the money are going out, it's gonna end. It's gonna end right there and then.
Well, just know this. Like, first off, if that lane is being awarded to a different carrier, there's a couple of things that are missing. So, one, their on-time service performance is probably shit. That's why they're losing the contract. Two, the carrier may not even want it. So they're saying, go ahead and take it, because that's a lot better to get relief that they're leaving than anything else. So if they're going to leave, they're going to overpay to another carrier, and that honeymoon is short-lived. Again, it's going to follow market rates. They're going to readjust those rates. Yes. Whether the line haul stays the same, guys, and they're just going to adjust that fuel surcharge or whatever it is, however that contract is written in their favor, is going to adjust, and thus you get adjusted.
And also, like, I've seen situations to where, let's say we are pulling out of the contract, right? Because it just makes no sense. It's too much babysitting for a customer that doesn't even pay enough.
I've had those
to deal with that struggle. And I've seen situations to where as we are pulling out, the other carrier that was supposed to pull in and kind of take over bounces on the day one. And then we call you back and we want you back right away. You didn't even leave yet, but we want you back because the other carrier we approached this contract as we already know it. We've been there, we've done it. It's the type of work that we do, right? So we intimately know that contract. We know what the work looks like. We know what time is the pickup, what time is the delivery. We know all the ins and outs about that place and everything. And the new carrier, let's say, who is quoting that business, doesn't know those details. We only know the shallow things that we knew when we went into it.
Yeah, what the salesperson sold you on.
Yes, so we jump on the same thing. The stability, this is how many loads a day, this is how it's going to be. And then all of a sudden, when it's time to roll, turns out it's less than ideal because now it's messing up a lot of other factors that in the long run is going to cause you a lot more damage than good. Like, for example, we were working on one contract that was just a local move, like Tampa to Orlando. And like I worked out the numbers to where it can be done. As a matter of fact, if I get to run my own schedule, that would be a pretty sweet lane.
Yeah, but they're not going to allow you to do that.
And then what happened, instead of them just giving me the freedom of running my own schedule and making something really, really good for our owner operators and us, it became a shit show because of the scheduling. Because now, if I wanna run this contract, I'm gonna have to delay some trucks let's say on Monday and Tuesday, or I need to pull some trucks from the OTR fleet because on Wednesday the schedule doesn't match for the local guys. You know what? I'm gonna hold the OTR guy back so he can do one run from Tampa to Orlando before he heads out.
But that's always going to be the dilemma, man, because for them it's better your truck than their staffing issues.
Of course.
They're gonna do what they have to do on their staffing, whatever it is, production lines, all that good stuff, unload times. It's gonna match their uniqueness, not yours.
Yes, and again, like sometimes depends on the area and everything else. You can get a better deal or worse deal. But here in Florida, it's like super easy because it's so cheap and so simple.
Yeah.
That there is nothing really to even talk about.
So there you have it, guys. The dedicated lanes, is it really everything it's all cracked up to be? Have you tried it and said, F that, it's not for me? Put the comments below, and it's 863-342-5171.
Yeah, and mostly I'm curious if you've done it and it worked out. I really want to know what was it. And if it didn't work out, what was the reasons why it didn't work out? And I'm going to guess it's going to be mostly scheduling and the amount of work, but you let us know in the comments.
Operators looking for the best business owner opportunity, look no further. I got all the programs that are going to make you successful. Everything to operating from 2 different fuel cards, top of the line trailers with a maintenance program that is unbeatable, to plates, insurance, you name it, we got it. All you got to do is give us a call. 863-342-5171. Learn more and get started.